Alright, so I'm currently on my way to the photo shoot. I'm only like a mile or two away. It's pretty close to my house. But I'm going to go ahead and meet the owner there, and we'll go from there. So I just made it to our photo shoot meetup spot. I am waiting for the owner of the other car. He runs on a thing that he likes to call Asian time, which means he's like 30 minutes late to pretty much everything. But he's always fashionably late. Fashionably late. Exactly as I predicted. So if you're wondering the car that I actually ended up shooting today, this is it. It's a 1991 Acura NSX NA1. This is the good looking one, in my opinion, the best looking one. The best overall performing one, the best driving one. It's just great all around. And of course you can tell it is just absolutely bright red. As you can tell by this side right here, it's all smooth, it's all one color, all one shade of red. And then whenever I will have the camera eventually and I turn that CPL filter on certain parts of the car, it'll have a nice smooth finish. And that's the good thing about red. Not only does it pop against the background, like as you can see, nothing else here is red, but also the fact that the finish of the paint, this gloss red paint, and you're gonna see things too like this with like gloss yellow, gloss white, or like things like Laguna Seca blue. It's just like such a flat color, if you know what I mean, like not necessarily flat but smooth. Now, another thing I actually like to do too is do a quick walk around. So you want to highlight the key points of the car and what you actually want to photograph while you're doing it. So what I see here right now are these Rigamaster Evos, which are very, very desirable in the JDM car community. And on this car, they absolutely fit it. So not only are they white, which actually helps add to the contrast of this car and make it stand out a lot. These are actually a pretty rare wheel, pretty rare in this NSX spec, and they look amazing. Now in the back hatch glass, I see a bunch of stuff already. There's this carbon fiber airbox right here. There's a couple of contact areas like the contact braze, contact oil cap. We have this nice polished coolant overflow tank. I mean, there's a lot of nice things in here that I'm going to want to showcase whenever I'm taking photos. So we're actually going to pull off this glass, since on NSX this glass opens separate from the actual trunk. Another thing I want to showcase too is these rear lights. So these are kind of like car shop glow style lights. Now as it gets a little bit darker, we're going to go ahead and take some photos of the rear end of this car with the tail lights on, and it's going to make it pop. Last but not least too, we want to make sure to check the interior. So as you can see right here, we do have a Recaro bucket. It's not, like I said, it's a pretty simple interior. A Recaro bucket, a couple of small contact things, a Monte Carlo steering wheel that's red. But I can tell you right now, you want to make sure to get every aspect of this car, like the shift knob and everything else. Now, a couple of things I noticed off the bat right now that we do need to address is the problem points. Now, this car is a really, really clean car. It's a pretty perfect condition NSX. I mean, the paint is immaculate. There's no body dents or anything like that. However, in the inside, since this car is actually driven a lot, Paul beats the hell out of this car. He doesn't leave it in the garage and babies it. He actually drives it hard, which is great. But the floor mats are pretty dirty. You can see there's just tons of stuff right here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do before I do the shoot is I'm actually going to pull these out and shake them clean. Also, too, this quick release right here, we can hide. I don't know why it's there. And then, too, there's a cup holder. Since NSXs don't have cup holders, there's this cup holder surround thing that we're going to have to pull out before. The little things like this USB-C kind of like cigarette lighter thing, close all this. The rosary we'll keep because that's part of his identity. We'll just kind of leave that there. It's kind of important to a lot of people. We want to make sure the steering wheel is straight. Even if the wheels are cocked to the side, we want to make sure the steering wheel is always straight. Alright, so I'm going to go and show you guys the equipment that I'm going to be using for this specific shoot. You're going to want to have your CPL filter. For some of you guys who have never seen a CPL filter before, this is basically going to cut all the reflections on the car. I'll show you when we get up close to the car actually what it does. This is going to help really smooth out the paint. Like I said earlier, this gloss paint is really, really smooth. This is going to help smooth out really a lot more. It's going to make it look 10 times better. And it's going to make it look a lot more like a professional photo. And some photographers, what they do is they actually have a tripod. They take multiple exposures, or what that really means is they're going to take 3 or 4 photos, and you can remove certain parts of the reflections in the car. Like you have one on the rear quarter panel, one on the roof, one for the wheels or whatever. And then once you stitch them all in Photoshop, it'll create like a commercial grade like photo. We don't have time for that right now, and frankly, this is a pretty just quick little tutorial. So I'm just going to use this for kind of the main line to kind of keep a good highlight from this top end of the body all the way to the bottom. This is going to help kind of get that and eliminate all the reflections that happen on the side of the car. Now for my camera choice, I'm actually just using the A7 II. I know this is kind of like an intermediate camera. I wouldn't really call it an expert camera, but it is a full frame. I just have the basic 50mm kit lens. So really, all you guys out there that have cheap cameras running cheap kit lenses, you really don't have an excuse. I shot an entire Speed Hunters article for this. I shot part of a couple of magazine articles with an APS-C Canon T3i Rebel camera. That was like a $200 camera I got off of Craigslist. I mean, your tools don't really hold you back that much. I just got this because I needed it for a little bit of low light stuff. But for you guys out there that are using cheaper equipment, you have absolutely no excuses. So I think the first angle I'm actually going to work out is this front angle right here. It's probably the easiest one. I'm going to work this one out, and I'm pretty much what I'm only going to do is I'm going to expose the car. I'm not going to expose for the sunlight, because if I expose for the sunlight, the car's going to be a little bit too underexposed. We actually want to have the car to be priority. So properly expose the car. Don't worry if the sky's a little too blown out. That's something we can fix in post. I'm going to go ahead and switch to a little bit more of a front end angle. And this car is absolutely in the middle of the way. Now, another good tip that you absolutely should do is don't forget to actually turn your camera. You want to get some portrait shots. Now, the reason why you want to get some portrait shots is not only does it help kind of diversify your portfolio just a little bit and not make your pictures all look the same and kind of boring, but they're great for things like Instagram stories, phone wallpapers and stuff that the owner is going to want to put on their phone. So it's always good to actually just turn your camera and do some portrait shots. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty much exposing for the car. I'm not exposing for the sunlight. It looks like it through the phone, but on the actual camera, it's exposed properly for the car. Okay, now next we want to get these shots of these wheels. Now wheels, it's actually kind of good to do a little bit of portrait because you can fit more of the actual wheel into it. It's fine to kind of go sideways, but I usually prefer to do this. Now I'm going to go ahead and do kind of a head-on shot, and for this head-on shot I'm going to go ahead and have it sideways landscape to fit more of the rear quarter panel. I'm going to do a little rear end shot right now so you can see with the taillights it actually looks pretty good. Just ignore that guy in the background. I have no idea what the hell he's doing there. He just shut up. Now right here is actually going to be a good example of when to use the CPL filter and how it works. So let me give you a really quick demonstration of it. I'm going to go ahead and take a picture without the CPL filter applied to this specific quarter panel. And as you can see, it just doesn't look that great. You still see some reflections in the actual quarter panel. But I'm going to go ahead and adjust it to where this quarter panel is going to be pretty much covered by the filter part of the CPL. As you can see, it just looks a whole lot better. Now here's this rear end shot I was talking about. Whenever it got a little bit darker, you can just see how much more the lights pop out. That just makes a great compositional photo. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure everything is square, and I'm gonna go ahead and take a bunch of basically horizontal and portrait shots, because this is perfect for portrait shots. Now, like I said with the interior, I'm going to go ahead and pull out the floor mats and give them just a very quick pat down so we don't have to get any of that crap in there. So just pat them down. I'm going to go ahead and put this floor mat back in. Now you can just see how much of a difference it makes just to help clean up a little bit. Don't be afraid to pull things out and clean them. It helps a lot. I actually like to help incorporate some of the body, the actual outside of the body of the car into the interior shots, because it helps create a little bit more of depth. It makes it a little bit more of an interesting photo. Go ahead and get this Recaro shot. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do a couple of detailed interior shots. I'm gonna get one of the wheel. And right now, one thing I noticed is the wheel is actually not straight. That's something you want to fix immediately. So this car has no power steering anyway. So I'm going just to move it a little bit. And there you go. As you can see, it makes a world of difference. Always make sure the steering wheel is straight. Now I'm gonna go ahead and, I noticed a couple of things that I didn't address. I'm gonna go ahead and remove those right now. So right now, you can see the cigarette lighter thing right here. I'm just gonna pull that out, close this up. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pull this cup holder thing out. Let me get back here. You won't notice it from this shot. As you can see, it just looks a whole lot cleaner. Don't forget to put all that shit back. You don't want the owner getting mad at you. Now, just lift right here. And there she is. Absolutely beautiful. Like I said earlier, Comtech, a couple of shiny bits. It's a little bit dirty, but we can fix that in post. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my tripod. It got, really dark, but it's gonna start getting that beautiful color I was talking about earlier. Also, another tip: don't park so far away from where the shoot's actually happening, because then you're gonna burn yourself out. So we just finished up the photo shoot. It got dark way quicker than I thought. The sun just got blocked behind a cold front. There was just not enough time to finish what we were doing, which this stuff kind of happens a lot. It's just more, you gotta plan better, but even then when things like this happen, I just had to put the phone down. I couldn't really vlog anymore. I had to focus on just getting his car shot. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just gonna be a lot more of me just taking you guys along with me doing photo shoots, and they'll get a little bit more helpful time after time. But I think it's fun. I kind of enjoy it, just doing this. It's really fun. And I'm gonna go ahead and end the vlog. We're just gonna go and hang out with a couple of friends. We're doing a brake job on his Mark IV 93 Supra. We're gonna go ahead and go over there and just have some fun. And I feel like that's a good way to end off this vlog. See you guys later.